This remake of the 1981 horror classic boasts the tagline of the most terrifying film you will ever experience. While the film does have some frightening qualities to it, I really cannot support that statement. In this Evil Dead remake, a group of friends go to a cabin in the woods to help a friend through her drug detox. But once there, they locate a Book of the Dead, which once read from unleashes demonic, evil spirits which attempt to possess them and take each one of their souls to hell. As I said, the film does have some frightening moments, even one terrifying moment for me. The film is basically a combination of creepiness, sickening visuals, shock horror, and some jump scares here and there. The latter two are not too much of my liking because I don't feel like much filmmaking ability is needed to achieve those sorts of things. Anyone can splatter gore across the lens here. Anyone can just have something jump out at you in the dark. It doesn't take a lot of skill. It doesn't take a lot of talent to do that. I find more credit given to well-crafted tension and suspense and everything, which the film does have a little bit of that. But the creepiness factor is very good. The quality of the sickening visuals, which is more just kind of showy stuff, a little bit here and there, but it really ties into the very exceptional, very excellent practical effects that they have in the film. There's some CGI here and there, but basically, I mean, the gore that you see really does feel visceral, feels gritty, it just feels real. It feels like they actually had gallons and gallons of blood. They were spraying all over the place in this film. The actual makeup effects are very, 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 very good. I mean, it just, like I said, it's sickening seeing some of this stuff, some of the self-mutilation stuff that the dead-eyed people and everything are inflicting upon themselves, which is a change of concept of the original stuff, where just more like in the original Evil Dead, it was once they got possessed, they kind of decayed and everything like that. The demonic spirits affected their physical appearance and everything. Here it's them actually taking blades and glass and all this kind of stuff and mutilating themselves, which is a little different. The designs of the demonically possessed things, if you want to call them deadites, they're not really called deadites in the film at all, but for reference sake anyway, deadites, that they have more to do, have more of a Linda Blair Exorcist type of look than a Evil Dead Deadite look or whatnot. Even the self-mutilation kind of ties into that idea more. The film has some problems for me, just because I am familiar so much with the original, even all three of the original films, which oddly enough I saw in reverse order. I saw Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2, and then Evil Dead when I first saw them. But the problem is that the film has original ideas, but it also has retreads. It's partly original, partly a retread, and the problem is that I think that it should have just, if it was going to go down enough of an original path, that should have stayed on the original path. The problem is that it will leave me along on a path similar to the original film. It takes me down that path long enough of a way where I start to believe that that's going to continue to go down that way, but then it does a sharp turn here or a sharp turn there. It does a swerve in the plot or whatnot, to where it's like, now I don't know what the heck is going on. I mean, I like the idea that it does change the concepts. It changes things here and there. It introduces new ideas, original ideas. It takes its own path in certain ways, but the problem was that, trying not to get into spoilers or anything, many of the big crux of the whole thing is like, it all comes together in the final act of the film, which I'll get to, but first I want to kind of like say, most of the acting, the acting in the film is good. There are better casted actors in the film than others. Things like lead of Jane Levy, who plays Mia, who is pretty much the main character of the film. She's the one who's going through the detox, and the film takes some creative swerves with the character and everything. Like I said, not going to give any spoilers, but it has a very original turn in the third act of the film. Again, get into that. But I liked the character of Eric, he looks like a 70s guy. He's got 70s clothes, he's got the beard, he's got the long hair. He looks very 70s and everything, but he's the guy, he's the guy that unleashes the evil. He unwisely opens up the book that's wrapped in barbed wire in a plastic bag and everything, which is the big red sign of saying, no, don't touch this, but if he didn't, there'd be no film. But this guy was just like, he understands what's going on. he catches on to everything, and he just doesn't have any disillusionment about what needs to be done, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to end this insanity and everything. So you gotta respect a guy like that in a horror film, who just, like, he knows what's going on. He's not stupid. He's smart. He catches on to all this stuff, and he's trying to convince everyone else of the reality of the situation. So I liked him. After that, the not so much the quality of acting, but just the impressiveness of what we got with the cast and everything, and the characters kind of goes downhill. There's Mia's brother of David and everything, who does have some bright points in the film, but overall a little less than exceptional, a little less than a standout. If it turned out that he was kind of like supposed to be like the main protagonist of the film, it would have been a little bit of a letdown, but ultimately he's not. Thing goes on, the whole film goes on, a couple different swerves here and there, like I said. But here we go, third act of the film, no spoilers, but basically the problem is that the film follows along on a certain path that seems very similar to the original film. People die, get hacked up, whatever it is, and you get to a certain point where it just feels like, okay, then the film is going to be like maybe 5 minutes away at most, and then, because I have no good judge of time and everything, there's like another actual 15 minutes left in the film, where the film just completely takes a completely different turn, goes in a completely different direction for a third climax, a third act and everything, which is very well done. It's very, very good, but it almost feels like the film is trying to be too ambitious, trying to force itself to be too different from the original, that it feels it has to take these more severe turns in the story for it to be a distinct change in a film to justify its existence as a remake and everything, instead of just doing the exact same thing that the original film did. That it has to throw in these more ambitious, more extreme ideas and everything that are set up earlier in the film. They are placed there. It's not saying it just comes out of nowhere and it has no context in the film. It does have setup, but the problem is, if you go in the film and you know the original film so well, you get to a certain comfort zone, believing you know where the things are going, and you settle in too much to the familiarity of the storyline, that once it goes in these other directions, it feels disjointed. It felt disjointed for me here and there. It's not really a problem of the execution of the film. It's more a problem that, well, it's partly a problem with the execution of the film, in that, again, part retread, part original. It has a lot of original ideas, but it keeps retreading the same stuff over and over again. After each time it would do a swerve, it would go back and try to do the same thing that the original did. And the problem is that it should have just stuck with all the original stuff. It shouldn't have kept going back and like retreading things that were done in the first film, which were better when they were original ideas than they are as retreads. And the film has some fan service. It has little tips of the hat here and there, which are not badly done. They don't take you out of the film, really. But I don't think the film was good enough to boast that kind of tagline to have most terrifying film you'll ever experience. I think people who do like shock horror like a little bit of jump scare. I mean, people who are not as well-tempered of a horror fan as I am, going back to Friday the 13th and Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all these people have been tempered by very hardened, very strong, very, very good horror films from different things, from suspense and horror, from manic insanity and just gory stuff all around. Might not find as much enjoyment from this, but I mean, if you do like the shock horror stuff, you like this, the visceral visuals, all that kind of stuff, you'll probably really enjoy the film. For me, it's a little of a mixed bag. Personally, I don't think I would have much of a desire to see it again. I don't say avoid it. There are far worse remakes out there than this. This is not a bad movie. It's not a bad horror movie. It's not a bad remake. But it could have been, if it stayed more on the path of original, instead of trying to harken back to do little retreads, trying to just kind of put new spins on little things like the hacking off the hand stuff. It could have been, I mean, it does, even that, it does fake you out. It does it once, and then it does something else later on that it's like, it's smart little things here and there, but it just felt like, if you're going to introduce this many original ideas, stay on the path of original. while still maintaining a semblance of the original with the setting, the basic concept, but keep doing original things instead of going back to the same stuff. Even the tree rape scene just felt monotonous to me because I had seen it before. I don't need to see it again. They did in both Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. I don't need to see it a third time. But if someone's seeing it who's never seen it before, would probably be very unsettled, very disturbed by it. But I've seen it before. It's nothing new to me. I just sat there and it had no effect on me. But if you do go see the film, there is a post-credits scene that you should especially stick around for, and it is very groovy. Let's just say that. So you can check the description below, get a little more insight. It's a fairly short review. Try to make this fairly short too, but it's a good horror movie. It's not the best remake it could have been, but it did have potential. It did deliver on various levels, but it could have, if it stuck to more original content, more original ideas, I think it could have delivered as better, more solid and consistent film. So I'm gonna go see Jurassic Park tomorrow, so catch you later. Bye.